Welcome to the Whiskey Vault. Daniel.
I wasn't ready yet. This is a premature
I'm Rex.
start.
This is breakfast whiskey.
This is legitimately breakfast. The thing is, because we're not... The downside of no daylight is... I kind of miss the daylight in the other shooting location.
Oh, yeah.
We had windows and a view.
No,
we're in a whiskey cave in here.
Natural lighting, yeah.
But the upside is that we can shoot literally any time. Also a downside.
Because we can
shoot any time. It's like, I guess we can bump our schedule. Because everyone else's schedules, we got to work around them. So we're drinking Stonehammer Kentucky bourbon at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done earlier.
We have done earlier.
What's the proof?
But hey, our palate's in its prime right now.
We've done higher proofs earlier. We'll be fine.
Everyone, don't worry about us. Someone made a comment recently. I was looking for comments today.
Yeah.
It said, "Love the Sennheisers," because you could see the logo even in the video.
But
it's just the tip. Okay. How long do you think we can get away with that joke?
you need some, dude. I'm running into the ground, man.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
That's your version of dad jokes is potty humor.
No.
Yes.
Dick jokes.
That's potty humor.
It's not potty humor.
Look, as a little kid, if you had a dick joke, your mom would be like, "No potty mouth. No potty humor in this house." That's potty humor. All right, this is a gift from Captain Ron.
Captain Ron, you magnificent bastard.
I always feel like I need to say that like Jeffrey Rush or something. Captain Ron. Not you. We named the monkey Ron. All right. So this is a grocery store bourbon.
Honey.
That's the short version of this.
Oh, kind of like
this is a company
like a Kirkland type of deal.
Yes, exactly like a Kirkland. It's Clear Springs Distilling Company. You can find it in like Ralph's and like in states where the grocery store's allowed to sell liquor.
Yeah.
And Costco and things like that. Don't know who made it. There's a very real chance it's Barton 1792 Distillery.
Yeah. This is you got that.
I think Sazerac owns them now.
Classic honey and brown sugar on the nose. Little bit of an oak behind there, but it's not at all barrel heavy or tannic.
Yeah, this is one of those bourbons that it's named after a Kentucky Senator, U.S. Rep, and Governor Thomas Metcalf. But that's the whole story. There's nothing about the whiskey anywhere on this bottle.
Oh, it
just tells this whole story about this old famous Kentuckian.
Here's the guy. Now I have some whiskey.
Now we have the whiskey for him.
And
there's nothing offensive. It smells like bourbon.
They went right down the middle of the lane with traditional bourbon flavors.
I want to compare it to 1792 because I think that's maybe
You think that's
this.
it? You think that's it? Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm from researching, not from my memory. I don't remember what 1792 tastes like.
Ooh. Nice little baking spice. A little bit of the honey and the cinnamon there.
There's a banana note in there that I haven't gotten in a bourbon for a long time.
A banana note?
Like a candied, like in a dessert where there's bananas in it.
Candy.
Yeah, think of it not like eating a banana,
right?
But think of it like a banana pudding where you got the Noah wafers and it's cookie crumbs and sweet but banana flavor.
I can see that, but it's definitely going to be. There's a lot of sugar in here.
Yeah,
a lot of sweetness.
A lot. Little spice, but it's so mild.
Not oakiness. If you like kind of a hefty oak layer, it's not. Yeah, there's just like a thin little bit of the underpinning of a oak bitterness, but it's very light. But you're mostly going to be getting those sweet, sugary, desserty, honey, and for a moment I got a flash of like a creamy caramel.
45%?
Yeah, it's 45 to 90 proof.
Good 90 little cask strength. Where's the normal one?
Yeah, and going back once again, it's just baking spices. This isn't coloring outside the lines. It's nice, right? It's perfectly reasonable bourbon.
All right, this is small batch, 1792, 46.
Oh, so almost the same.
0.8%, almost the same proof.
Okay, we're definitely close. Definitely close.
This one's more candy.
That one's a little bit more floral on the 1792.
Yeah, there's more musty. I like the 1792 a lot better. It's got more of the grainy mustiness of the corn and bourbon. Not near as candy sugar.
Yeah, less sugary.
But think about it. If this was a grocery store bourbon that's like, hey, I'm going to bring us home some Kentucky bourbon to this party.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll be fine. You're not going to offend anybody.
What
It's good bourbon.
Do you ever think 1792 is going to release some of the barrels that fell and didn't break?
Well, I don't know.
Right? Surely they're not just going to blend it in with the rest of the stuff.
I really hope that they release a fallen barrel. The fallen barrel house.
Yeah, the
whiskey. That would be funny.
The suicidal whiskey. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it. There's
if
so
they
much
don't,
to
they're
live for.
missing a huge opportunity.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Who
sad.
wouldn't want a barrel that fell and then they're like, well, did the agitation, did the violent roll cause a change? And
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite storylines, and actually, Ralph and I got to try this bottle. So Hudson Distillery at one point was using these baby barrels. And they were aging their barrels upstairs in the second story of part of the building, and it caught on fire. And they managed to get it out, and there was a whole bunch of barrels in there that the outside of the barrel was charred by the fire,
Right.
but it wasn't leaking.
yeah. All
So
right.
they set all of those aside and then blended them all together.
Yeah.
And they released it as a double charred bourbon, and they told the story.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch, if that's not my favorite Hudson whiskey.
Really?
I when Ralph came to hang out with us a couple of years back,
Yeah.
I found 3 bottles because I wanted him to tell the story and hang out when he and he was like, I think you found the only remaining 3 bottles that I don't even own any. And so I still hoarded I've got the 2 baby bottles in there.
Yeah.
Hoarding. But absolutely do the story. That's a great idea.
These are very, very similar.
Much sweeter, more
Well,
floral musty.
like, I'm not going to say much. I'm going to say sweeter, more floral. But these are very similar, running parallel with most of the flavors. We got Vincent Mui. What is your favorite food pairing with whiskey?
Yeah, so here's a question. I'm going to ask not type of food, so set that aside for a second. Category. Do you prefer whiskey with nibbles, whiskey with dessert, or whiskey with the main course?
I'm a nibbles kind of guy.
You like whiskey and some nibbles.
The nibbly bits.
What kind of nibbles? Sweet
kind?
or salty?
Salty nibbly bits.
Salty nibbly bits. Like the pub mix from Costco? Or like chips? Or
More in the chip direction.
okay, but not flavored chips.
Not flavored
So like
chips.
tortilla chips.
And then occasionally I'll get some jerked meats.
Oh,
The beef sticks.
I bet beef jerky would go really good with bourbon.
There's tons of
Or
different
whiskey.
kinds of seasonings and flavors, smokes that you can get in different kinds of jerky, different kind of meats entirely. Doesn't necessarily have to be beef. And that can pair in really interesting ways with whiskey. Yeah. I like it.
Dig it.
What do you like?
I actually prefer whiskey all by itself. As a matter of fact, normally, I've only done it a couple times with meals. Normally, what I prefer to do if I have whiskey at a restaurant, I'll order a whiskey, I'll sip on the whiskey. When the food comes, I'll put something on top of my whiskey, and I'll eat the whole meal.
And then go back.
And I'll clear the plates, and then I'll go back to my whiskey.
Yeah, I find like in the middle of the meal,
It depends on the food.
it does depend on the food, but for most meals, in the middle of the meal, if I'm going to a whiskey, it's like I'm missing a ton of stuff that I know is there because it's just getting overwhelmed by the entree, the food.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like
The only time that didn't happen to me was that whole, I've talked about it on camera, the meal at where I had the steakhouse and had Talisker tin and it kept changing.
Now, and an exception, I would say if you ever get something on ice.
Yeah, then
Right.
it's a
Then
cocktail,
with the meal,
basically.
then with the meal is totally.
I sort of view whiskey on the rocks as a cocktail, like a really simple ingredient cocktail.
Yeah. All right. Garrett Rain. Oh, in the comments though, I want to see if I can get some ideas from the MBs. Favorite pairing with whiskey. Yeah, you got.
Garrett's very involved in send us whiskey, by the way.
Hold on a second, we're getting there.
Yeah, send us the pairings.
In the comments, because I want to try some more pairings. I think.
Me too.
I've tried like dozens of different kinds of jerky. But yeah. Garrett Rain, bar and Tinder ad campaign suggestion. Make us the first round. We make everything else better.
I read that and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a little bit painfully accurate advertising. I don't know if they can do that.
I'm curious.
Where is it?
That particular whiskey, the bar and Tinder, I think that was just so dry on the palate, surprisingly dry on the palate. I was reading about this African, it's called miracle fruit. There's like a scientific name to it. And it's this berry, and they've made powders and tablets, but basically it's this berry that you can take, and the moment after you eat it,
Oh, yes,
It
for like
takes-
a little bit of time.
it makes everything taste sweeter. So even like lemons,
Yeah, you can eat super sour stuff or bitter stuff, like even coffee
People are
beans.
just eating straight lemons. It's like it tastes like I'm eating lemonade,
Yeah.
right? I would be interested to have one of those
that?
tablets It's the miracle berry.
Can you buy it?
It's yeah, you can.
Oh, let's do that.
African miracle berries. We'll probably do an episode on tribe.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Tribe about that. But I would like to try like dry whiskeys.
Yeah.
With some of this
Really tannic.
miracle berry and see if it gives up any kind of sweetness in there.
I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this was we don't know the price.
Look,
point.
it's fine.
Classic bourbon. Yeah. It's very average, not blow your mind amazing, not disappointing.
Right.
Very right down the middle of the lane bourbon. We've done a lot of bourbons on this channel recently.
We've been donating a lot of bourbons on this channel recently, and we got some more for the rest of this week.
Good thing I like bourbon. I said that like I didn't like bourbon.
We do actually like bourbon.
We do like bourbon. Here's the fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, I fight for a friend.
You steal it, you steal your liver's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.